We are in conversation with Mr. Subhash Chandra Garg, Economic Affairs Secretary. This is one of his first interactions, and we just hope that this will be the beginning of many more interactions. So thank you so much for giving time to CNBC TV. It's always a pleasure, sir.
My pleasure.
Sir, starting off first, of course, with the RBI annual report, enough has been said. The finance minister has made a very categorical statement on the same. But couple of questions, still, there in the mind. Like, for example, way back in the month of December, the AG had told the Supreme Court that we are not expecting more than 11 crore worth of currency coming back into the banking system. And at that point in time, there was a lot of expectation that a good enough gap will be left on that front. Now, the finance minister has tried to explain that by saying that, probably that's not the right approach to the entire process. But the question still arises that what has been the benefit if you leave the taxation side apart? Because, of course, that's a huge policy reform and that will play out now over the next couple of years.
See, this debate or this question which has got framed by some people that the success measure for the demonetization was that how much money does not come back is entirely incorrect framework to judge this entire exercise of the demonetization. I don't think government ever said that this is the objective of the government, that some money should not come. Let's also remember that these notes of 500 rupees and 1,000 rupees was so widely distributed in the economy. Every family had it, right? So rural areas, urban areas, everywhere. And as we also know that these currencies were also used largely as a medium of exchange, as a medium of payment, then as the store of value. So the expectation should have been, and expectation was, as far as the government is concerned, is that the bulk of the money will come back. So
was that the original expectation? Because, sir, according to what AG told the Supreme Court, they had indicated that probably not more than 11 lakh crores worth of the currency may come back to the system. So, how do you look at it in that perspective?
This was never stated by government in one way or the other. And therefore, there is sort of kind of a speculation, individual opinions that someone thought this way, someone thought this way. But to me, as an objective person, somebody who has come into the system after that event has happened, the fact that the currency was so widely distributed in the economy, the legitimate expectation should have been that bulk of it would come back. The second, the objective is the government explained on the very first day, is that it comes up from that use of the currency, high value currency, where you use this as a store of value to hide your wealth, to keep it in unaccounted way. And that is where the black money angle was there, that a large part or a good part of this currency, which was in circulation, was also being used by a lot of people to store their unaccounted wealth or cash. This by no means was the only way in which the illegitimate or illegal money was being stocked or wealth was stocked, but this was a significant good measure. So that part was where the government was trying to hit, that unaccounted black cash which people are holding, the rich people are holding, that would either, it could have not come, or it could have come into the system, and then you would have the ways to find out, detect that this is actually unexplained, and then you work your PMLA and your Black Money Act, and that's what happened. So 18 lakh accounts where 2 lakh and 2.5 lakh and more money was deposited, amounting to about 3.5 lakh crore. That prima facie was indicative of the fact that this might represent a good chunk of black money.
Right, sir, but somewhere, okay, we probably stand corrected. I mean, you have indicated very clearly that the narrative did not change midway once the government got a sense that a lot of the money is actually coming back, because I remember that even before the month of November had come to a close, or probably early December, around 11 lakh crores was already back into the system, and after that the announcements on the PMJDY and other measures were taken. That point has been taken aboard, sir. So one more issue now in this entire exercise, it appears that the liabilities of RBI actually went up, mainly on two accounts. A, you have to take care of so much of currency, you destroy, you print, you take care of those expenses. You also, give out extra interest to banks during the gush of liquidity which came in because of demonetization. So net in terms of the balance sheet, where do we stand right now as far as RBI is concerned and as far as the government is concerned?
See, one question which has come up in comment is the extra cost which the RBI had to incur in printing notes. That should be seen as one which is serving a much larger set of objectives. We have now new currency with very strong security features which were not there in the earlier currency. This measure promotes digitalization, less cash in the economy. So all those objectives are being serviced by this new currency, and the one-time cost which has been incurred in printing should be seen against that, not against what has not come, and therefore vis-a-vis that is the cost-benefit ratio. The other question which you had was about the balance sheet. A lot of RBI balance sheet. How does
it impact government also? How does it impact government also?
So the RBI reported total surplus of about 44 lakh crore, 44,000 crores, right? They've retained about 13,000 crores to build reserves, and 30,000 odd crores has been transferred to the government. So if you look at, in comparison to past or previous years, the decline in RBI surplus is not very substantial. And let's also face it, it's not only the cost which has impacted. Cost is actually a smaller part. The foreign currency returns were coming down. So there are a lot of other factors which have played into what the finance. Exactly. So that is what would explain the reduction in the surplus of RBI, not the cost alone.
Sir, the report also mentions that probably this 15.28 trillion number does not incorporate money that has yet to probably flow out from Nepalese citizens, and also the district cooperative banks. So and of course RBI said subject to verification, so that exercise probably is still on. Down the line, do you expect this number to actually go up further? And if that happens, then more or less the same situation as of now? I mean,
in my understanding, there are 3 to 4 sources where still some money or those SBNs are still lying. Well, 2 you mentioned about the Nepal and the cooperative banks. There is some such notes with the foreign citizens, and there are some notes which have been seized by the law enforcement agencies, which are also in the process of either with them or in the court process and all. But my estimation of all these 4 or 5 sources put together is that this is not really a big amount of money staying outside. I can't put a number to that, but 16,000 crores which has not come. I don't think these 4 sources put together exceeds that. So that, in fact, is a big confidence that the money which has come back, there was no extra cash into the system than what was officially printed. The fear that a lot of FICN would come as part of the deposits when the SBNs were being collected. That has not come. RBI has also given, based on a very large sample analysis, that the fake currency note which has come is very small, minuscule kind of thing.
But is that a cause of concern that probably it's going undetected, or this is the number that we should be
I think
believing?
we are very happy about it. This confirms several things. One, that the process of deposit of currency notes was not misused by people to smuggle in the FICN. This gets confirmed. Second, it was the FICN which was not expected to come into the system, because this was to be stopped completely in tracks. And the fact that it did not come, and it resulted into several other consequences which are positive: stopping stone pelting, stopping other terrorist activities, Naxalites kind of activities. A lot of that indicated that this FICN, which was in use earlier, thanks to demonetization, this was completely neutralized.